this is Audrey, also known as Noble Strength, and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to share with you my process of my second sewing project. I am not here to teach you how to sew at all because I am a beginner myself, but I am here to encourage anyone who's thinking about sewing. So I'm hoping that by sharing my experience with you, it will encourage you. So yes, I started a second project. It's this dress. I'm wearing it now, and I will do a styling at the end, and I'll also do a pattern review in case you're looking for a pattern to work on. Now this particular dress had some challenges, but it was not quite as difficult as the first project that I did was the wrap skirt, and I think that was because I had a little bit of a mental block because I was somewhat intimidated because it was my first time and I was actually learning so much. I was learning the machine and terminology and all of that, so that made it a little bit more difficult. But now, this being my second project, I'm a little bit more familiar. By no means am I anywhere close to being an expert, still learning terminology and still made a lot of hiccups and mistakes along the way, but each time I know I'll get better. And I do have a lot of people who have been encouraging me, so that also helped too. So thanks to all my friends and family who've been encouraging me. Love you so much. Now, I will do a review of the pattern and I'll also do a styling after I show you the process. So what you're about to see now is the last 4 or 5 days, so I think it was like 4 days of me working on this dress and just sharing with you my experiences and the steps. So take a look at that, and then I'll be back to do a review and a styling. Don't go anywhere. It's raining outside, and so it is the perfect day for sewing. Next sewing project. This time I'm doing a new look pattern, and I think I want to do the one that has no sleeves right here, and I'm going to do a contrasting panel like that one, but it's going to be this one without the sleeves. So I'm in the process of making that. I've cut my patterns out and I'm using this really cool kind of fabric like this that has the different patterns. I really like this kind of black and white print here. So I'm working on that, and I have began piecing together. So this is the underside of the garment, which I am getting ready to trim up, and then I'm going to stitch together, and then I'll show you the front side so you can see how it's coming along. But yep, I'm working on my second sewing project, and thanks for all the encouragement, everybody, on the first project, which was the black wrap skirt. Your words really inspired me to keep going, so love you. Thanks. Okay, so I'm still working on the dress. I've got quite a bit of work to do. I've got to put the godettes, I believe that's how you pronounce it, on the back where these little slits are. So it's like a triangular piece of material that has to fit here and here to kind of give the dress an A-line flare effect. And trying to match up all these patterns is what's the most difficult part. So that's the back side, and then the front I have put the godettes in, so they look like this, triangular pieces. So I'm pressing down the seams now, and then I'm going to put that on the dress mannequin, and then we'll go from there. So this is how I'm coming along on my second sewing project. Okay, so this is how far I've come along. This is the dress. I've had to do a lot of taking hems out and redoing, not hems but seams, and redoing, because it is the hardest thing trying to line up the pattern, and it's still not lined up properly here along the chest, but I've done the best I could, and I'm not gonna take it out because I've taken this out twice already, so I'm not gonna worry about that anymore. Since this is only my second time sewing, I don't think people are going to be staring that hard at it. So this is what it looks like, and I put the godettes in the front here, which are the triangular pieces that are there, and then I actually messed up cutting out the pattern. This was supposed to be all patterned here, but since I messed up, I used a solid color pattern, solid colored cloth material to fill in there, and that's actually one of the design options, but that's not the one I had intended to go with. So as you can see here on the pattern, they actually do a contrasting panel here in the middle, but I was actually going for this an all pattern look with the sleeveless and no collar. So I am still doing the sleeveless no collar, but I'm just having the panel there. So that's what you see there. And so like I said, I put the two godettes in the front, and I had to redo the godettes because it wasn't laying properly here, and of course I still have to iron it, but now I have a more straight edge going along here. And then as far as the sides, I am trying to work on lining those up so that the stripes match. I think that's going to be more obvious than the front, because at least the front is broken up by a dark panel. So the sides, I'm going to really have to be particular about lining up, so I'm working on that. And then this is the back. Of course, the back has a lot of work left to do. I'm just kind of pinning right now, and I think I'm going to have to take up a little bit here in the waist and get it lined up. And I have put a godette in on there, and now I have to do one on this side, and then the next I will have to do the trimming on the sleeves, the collar. I have to do a zipper, but you know what, this could probably work without a zipper, like be a pullover type dress, but we'll see. So anyway, and I've got to put a hook eye up here if I put a zipper. So that's how far I am coming along on this sewing project, and I'll keep you posted. And this is like day 3. Day 1 I cut out pattern. Day 2 I began sewing the front panels together, and now day 3 I'm finishing up the godettes, and we'll see how far I get today. Okay, so I have just finished the back of the skirt, and I have put the zipper in on the back here. I tried to line it up as best I could, but there's an invisible zipper there. Still have to sew the sides together, but I did stitch up the top part on the shoulders, so you can kind of see how this is going to look. I'm going to turn it towards the light, that way you can see a little bit better. But so that's the dress from the front, and like I said, I got the shoulders and the back done and the zipper put in. So now all I have to do is the binder along the collar and sew the sides, and then do the arms, and then I will be, well, I was going to say done, but then I have to hem it. So collar, arms, sides, hem, then I'll be done. So just wanted to show you that. And then of course I'll have to press it and iron it. But anyway, that's my progress. This is where I am right now currently on this project. I have almost reached the finish line. I put the collar around the neck, or the binding of the collar. I don't know what the proper term is. I'm still learning. And so that is the front. I did go back and take out this side seam again so that I could try to line up the lines a little bit more evenly. It's still not a perfect match, but it's not as off as it was before, so it won't be as noticeable. And I seamed up the sides, which I think I did a pretty good job of lining those lines up. And also on this side, a little off on this side, not quite as well as the other side, but I'm gonna let that go since it is on the side. So I still have to put the binding on the arms and then put a hem at the bottom part. So once I do that, all I have to do is put a hook eye on the back at the top. It's a little big up here, so I'm not sure how I'm gonna fix that, but I do have to put a hook eye here, and it's a little off here, but I'm okay with that. Like I say, learning as I go along, and it's just my second sewing project, so I know I'll get better as I go along, but that's where I am now. Alright, so you saw what the process was like, and so now I just want to kind of talk about the pattern that I used. The pattern is called a New Look pattern, and it's number 6299, and it's just a nice kind of dress, maybe I would say right above the knee. It has a lot of flow at the bottom, kind of that A-line fit to it, so it's fitted in the bodice, and I like it because it gives you options of a collar, cap sleeves, no sleeves, or your regular sleeve length. So, and then you also have the option of a contrasting panel. You could do so much with it. So my overall review on this is that it's a very good pattern. Once you read through the instructions thoroughly, it's fairly easy to follow. I would say difficulty, there's difficulty when doing the godettes, which are the little triangular pieces that you put in the front. At least it was for me. Probably for an experienced seamstress that would not be hard, but if you're a beginner, I would say that would be kind of challenging. And I would definitely say if you're a beginner, don't use a pattern, go with a solid colored material, because you will have trouble lining up the patterns to match them so the dress won't look too off base. So that was my most difficult challenge. With all the seams that you have to be kind of cautious of lining up the patterns. I had to rip apart several seams more than one time in order to get it to where it was acceptable for me. And I know for some people it would still not be acceptable, but everybody has their different levels of acceptance. So I would say I would give myself a B+ on this, because there are still some off things. I got a little bit off when doing the seams. The instructions will tell you if you're doing a stitch seam to do so many inches stitching, and if you're doing a regular stitch to do so many inches, and I kind of didn't adhere to that unintentionally, and it kind of threw the alignment of the back off, so there's a little bit of gapping in the back where the zipper is, and it's a little bit off matching up the patterns. So don't go with a pattern, go with a solid color. I did not try the collar and the sleeves because I heard that was kind of difficult. So you know what, this is great that I can still have this pattern and change it up and try it doing the collar and the sleeve with the solid color, so it'll be something different. But overall, I think this was a good pattern, and once again, it's New Look and it's number 6299. So now I'm going to style this dress for you, so sit back. Hopefully I'll give you maybe 3 or 4 looks, and I'll see you in a few. this is Audrey, also known as Noble Strength. I hope you enjoyed the styling, and thank you for sharing in this whole process of me learning how to sew. I hope it's been encouraging for you, and remember to don't be afraid to take on new challenges, new projects, because there's growth in the process. And remember to always be a good steward of all that God has given you, because He loves us so much. So I'll see you next time. Bye.